You can see from looking at my wing, this wing does not have the OEM wing stand gaskets or anything that's waterproof to protect it from water going in there. I looked online everywhere and I couldn't find the OEM gaskets that are meant for this R34 GTR wing. So what I ended up doing is buying some weatherproof neoprene sponge foam. So we're gonna go ahead and install this under the wing stand, and this one is waterproof and has a single-sided layer of tape, so we could just peel that paper back and stick it on to the wing stand. So I'm gonna take the wing stands off, install some neoprene foam, and we should be good to go. I might do 2 layers because this one's kind of thin, so I got 1/16 inch. I should have got like a 1/8 or something like that. But with that being said, I'm gonna take off the wing and install the neoprene foam. All right, so now we need to make a template of the bottom of these wing stands, so then we can transfer it over to the foam and cut it out. The way we're gonna do that, you could do this a bunch of different ways, like take a paper, draw an outline, cut out the paper, transfer it onto that, cut that out. But today I'm gonna be using a piece of wrap. I'm just gonna wrap the bottom portion of these, cut out these holes. Then I'll go ahead and move the template onto the foam, cut out the foam, and install the foam. So with that being said, let's get to that. So I ended up using this transfer tape to make the neoprene foam templates for the bottom of the wing stands. The reason I use the transfer tape is because the vinyl really wasn't sticking. It would have if I would have cleaned it a little bit better. I didn't, so I just ended up using the transfer tape. Much easier for me to see the outline of the wing stand. I mean, it doesn't look terrible. I could have used scissors, cleaned it up a little bit better, but I just ended up using the blade, which made the edges a little bit rough. Essentially should be waterproof now, and it actually looks pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. With that being said, let's go ahead and throw these back on. Before we throw them back on, we're gonna go ahead and clean up this area. As you can see, it's really dusty, so we're gonna dust it off, clean it off a little bit. But man, this R34 actually looks crazy without the wing. What do you guys think? So here we have some kicker speakers for the R34. The reason I got these is because the rear speakers are blown. So these are some kicker 6.5 inch, 300 watt max, 100 watts RMS. And the part number for these is right there, the 46CSC654. And these are 4 ohm, just like the original speakers. We're gonna go ahead and take off the original rear speakers. We already removed the seats. I was gonna make a complete video on this. I mean, you guys aren't gonna be able to really hear the sound anyways because everything is copyrighted, and I mean, it's on camera. You can never really hear how good it sounds like on camera than in person. So I ended up getting these from crutchfield.com. They came with this hardware here, and they came with these connectors here. We won't be using these connectors to hook these speakers up. What we will be using to hook these up to the Skyline are these harnesses here for Metro. There is a part number there. So these were for $95,240 on their website, but these also fit the R34. I took them out of the package just to test them out, just to double check, make sure they fit before I explain this part in the video. They fit perfectly, so all you're gonna have to do is connect them and then hook up the wires. I believe white goes to positive and black goes to negative. So there's a red line there for positive and nothing for ground. So it's pretty simple. We're just gonna unbolt the old speakers and we're gonna bolt up the new ones. And actually, one more thing I had to say, when I added them to the cart, they actually added these harnesses along with the order, so you don't need to worry about picking out this harness. If you're picking a specific car, I believe they'll throw in the harness for you. And if they don't, just look it up on their website, whatever kind of car you had. Unfortunately, they don't have the Skylines on their website, so I had to go with the 95-240SX, and thankfully they work. They could probably add these to their website and list the Skylines on there now, because we know these will fit the R34s. Just paid for the speakers and they included the harness for free. For the Skyline, it's a 95-240SX that you're gonna choose. Enough talking, let's go ahead and install the speakers. I'm really not gonna show much. I'm not gonna show the install. It's literally just 4 bolts. You remove it and install the new ones. So I'll show you guys once these are on the car. If anything was different than expected, then I'll let you guys know exactly what else I did different. I'm just gonna go ahead and remove the old speakers, bolt these down, and install the harnesses, and we should be good to go. All right, so the rear speakers are in. Everything went on kind of smooth. These bolts were a little bit, the OEM bolts were a little bit at an angle, so I use the OEM bolts. I'm not gonna run the speaker cover because we have this cover here, obviously. These bolts kind of went in at an angle because the holes aren't far back enough, I guess you could say, but I still managed to bolt it down. Now that these are installed, next step is gonna be connecting the wire harness. I mean, I could have connected it while it was up here, but I made it harder on myself. So I'm gonna go ahead and connect the harness through the backside of the trunk. It shouldn't be too hard. I looked in there earlier and there was enough space for me to do it, so I'm just gonna go ahead and do it that way. After the harness is connected, we test them out. We're gonna go ahead and put the interior back on. I'm not gonna record this. Actually, let's just go ahead and put this piece back on right now. So there's a little tab right here, and that goes onto there like that. You're good to go. This piece is back on. It's pretty easy. The rear seat, you just slide it down into these hooks. There's 3 hooks, one right there, one right here, one right here. You just slide the upper portion of the back seat down. Once you slide it down, there is a piece of metal welded here with some threads, and you're gonna thread in that 10 mil bolt. See, it has like a little hook, and you just screw this 10 mil bolt onto that hook. Then you just slide in the lower portion of the rear seats, and there's a 12 mil bolt right here that you're just gonna screw down, and it should be that simple. So with that being said, let's get to it. Real quick, before we connect the harnesses, I want to show you guys the speakers. Man, these things are torn up. Good thing I ordered the new ones. As you guys can see, that harness is clipped on, as well as these female connectors are connected to the speakers. As you can see, white goes to the red and black goes to ground, and you can't really mix them up because the black one is a lot thinner than the red one. I'm just gonna go ahead and test them out, see if they work, and we should be good to go. I ended up getting some pieces. They all the way from Germany, and now they are here in California. First of all, let me go ahead and show you guys what those parts are and where they are going. So here we have the pieces for the OEM R34 GTR wing, and what we have here is some great quality carbon fiber pieces coming all the way from Germany. Huge thanks to Crismo for these parts. To start off, we have the end caps for the R34 GTR wing, which are gonna be going here. We're gonna replace these. We have the mounting plate for the wing stands slash wing. Those are gonna be going underneath. You can see that plate right there. We're gonna replace that plate with the carbon fiber one. And last but not least, these were the hardest things to find out of everything. These things, I looked everywhere. I even hit up companies that made replica R34 GTR spoilers, and nobody had them or wanted to sell them to me. I finally found that Crismo made one of the best reps of the R34 GTR OEM wing. He actually made the rubber pieces as well, and he was willing to sell them to me separately. While I was at it, I ended up getting the mounting plates for the spoiler and also the end caps. So huge shout out to Crismo, because without him, I don't know what I would have done about these rubber pieces. I would have probably tried to make them myself. Not came out as good as these here. So these are actually made out of forged carbon. They're overlaid with 2x2 twill carbon on top of the forged carbon. As you can see, the center of the forged carbon. As you can see, the back, they're like super great quality, especially these end caps here. So I ordered these a long time ago, 20th of August 2023. As most parts I've ordered a long time ago, and I've just had them stored, just waiting for the right time to install them. If you guys need any of these parts for your OEM wing, hit up Crismo parts, because these things not only look amazing, but they're actually made really good quality. They don't feel cheap at all, especially these end caps. As you can see, they even added a washer in there, which makes it that much more legit. They just look amazing, and how they went extra with this is just, I think it's pretty dope. So with that being said, let's go ahead and install this stuff. First, we're gonna go ahead and start off with removing the end cap, the center spoiler, which we need to remove in order to get these rubber pieces in. And we're gonna go ahead and remove the wing itself so we could change out these plates. So I wanted to show you guys what I got so far. So we got these lower plates down here that actually look really good. Let's look at that. Yeah, they look amazing. And then we got these rubber pieces up here, and they provided some new screws. The screws that they did provide though were a little bit too thin from the head. They're almost the same size as that second hole down there, so I'm gonna have to look for some screws that are a little bit thicker that will fit in there. They're still held on there pretty good. I'd rather be safe than sorry than to lose these things again. So this is the OEM bolt that came with it, and that one is a little bit thicker, so I'm just gonna use this as reference. I would have used the same ones, but one of them stripped pretty easy, so I'm gonna try to find some that are that same size. Save this one, try to find one at the hardware store that's the same size as that, and then change them all out again. We finally got the carbon fiber end caps on from Crismo. We got the bottom wing stand slash wing mounting plates in carbon also. We also went ahead and threw the Crismo sticker on there just to show some love to him, because without him I would have never found these rubber pieces. I would have had to make them myself, and it probably would have turned out like shit. But huge shout out to Crismo for that. I'm telling you, I could not find those rubber pieces anywhere, and that was driving me insane. The wing stand gaskets are on, as well as all these pieces I received from Crismo. But the carbon overall does look amazing, and I feel like it just completes the wing portion of the rear end. I feel like I still need to do something to the rear end down here. I'm pretty sure it's the diffuser that it's missing. Eventually I'll get that, but that's like way down the line. Right now I'm not even worried about that. Pieces look great, car's starting to come together. Next step is going to be the big brake kit, so stick around. So with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Once again, Ed Range, peace.